On the very first day of our trip to Turkey, we decided to visit Topkapi Palace and the harem. It was Miguel, Anna, Jasmine, Ariel, Lulu, and me. We had a great time. You know, this place is old, and it was part of an empire. There's also some wonderful art that we saw here. It was just a magnificent place. I suppose that's why they call it Topkapi Palace. We met Ali there at Topkapi Palace, and he took us out to lunch afterwards, and of all things, wouldn't you know it, he took us to his rug store. Anyway, we ended up buying a rug. There were many rugs there. We finally found one that was a wool rug, and of course, you know, Lulu here in this picture, you can see her looking at the silk ones, but they were expensive. After buying our rug, we went to the Hagia Sophia, and then we went to the Cistern, which is a water supply into the city. Great place, just Jasmine, Lulu, and I. Here in this next picture, you're going to see me that I was just afraid. I was afraid of the Medusa. After visiting the Cistern, Lulu and I and Jasmine met up with Ariel and Miguel and Anna, and we went out for dinner. It seems that after dinner, we went back to our hotel, and very near to our hotel was a store that sold candy. Tell you what, the Turkish have some of the best candies, and of course, favorite in my heart is the baklava. The next morning, we gathered in front of the Blue Mosque for a Bosphorus tour. We don't have any pictures of the tour here because I was seasick. The seas were choppy. It was just a not so much of a delightful trip for me. But after that, we went to the spice market, and you can see the spices here. The place just smells beautiful, and they have candies and they have other items too. I mean, if it's related to food, they have it there. Finally, on the third day, we were able to see the Blue Mosque. This was Lulu, Jasmine, Ariel, and I, and we enjoyed looking up at the ceilings and just all around. It's a gorgeous, wonderful place of worship, and it was interesting to see how people in a Muslim country worship. After visiting the Blue Mosque, we took public transportation on over to the Dolmabahce Palace, and again we saw more grandeur of the Ottoman Empire. It's a beautiful place. I mean, they have gardens, they have offices and places for meeting, and they also have living quarters. Anyway, what can I say? It was a great place. Afterwards, we went to the Grand Bazaar and just had a grand old time looking at all sorts of textiles and old dishes and just all sorts of beautiful stuff. It was a good visit. The second part of our trip was to Romania. We wanted to take Ariel here to see a place where she's been wanting to go for quite a few years. We got to the train station and boarded a train, and we headed north up through the mountains into Transylvania. Once we were in Transylvania, we stopped at our hotel, unpacked, and we went to dinner at a wonderful restaurant in Poiana Brașov. Great place. You can see by the decor, it's just very typical, and it's very touristy. Ariel here is eating a bowl of soup, and Lulu had soup, I had soup, Jasmine had soup, and we ate our main course. and we followed it with a type of donut. It's called a papanash, and that was our dessert. The next day we went to Bran Castle, also known as Dracula's Castle. But I'll tell you what, Dracula was never here, at least it's just a legend as far as I know. But we had a great time. We started at the base level and we started walking up a long stairway. And as you look up, I mean, the place is just majestic. The place is a little bit creepy, but really not that bad. They have wonderful furniture in there. They have a secret passageway that, oh, Ariel, she just enjoyed that part way too much. And anyway, the scenery was great. You can see the snow here in our next picture, and you can look out to the rest of the valley and the road leading up to Bran Castle. After Bran Castle, we went back to the train station, and Ariel, Jasmine, and I enjoyed the scenery. Of course, somebody, and I think that was probably Lulu, spent their time sleeping on the train. As soon as we got back to Bucharest, we went out to dinner. We met with Lodi and with Constantin, two of my really great friends. We also met up with Ralucuța. She was also there to visit us. Afterwards, we posed for pictures outside. It already had gotten dark. And anyway, it was a time to say goodbye. I probably won't see them for another few months. For breakfast, we had savarinas and coffee. That's delicious. At lunch, I had sarmale and mamaliga, one of my favorite dishes in Romania. We had lunch with Irina and Călin, and later, about after we finished eating, we met up with Cristina, and we just had a good time shopping and just looking around town. It got dark, and they accompanied us to a parking lot where we were going to meet up with Paul Voicu to go to dinner with his family. We had dinner with Paul Voicu and his family. He's Ariel's uncle, and that's Raluca, his fiancée. And in this next picture, we see Gigi, his father, which is Ariel's great-grand uncle. He served us dinner that he had cooked, and afterwards he just played a wonderful host. We had to leave the Voicus at about 8 o'clock to get to the airport for our flight to Istanbul, and we made it to our hotel. This is the Adora Hotel. The next morning we went to the airport, and there we waited for our flight at about 1 o'clock to fly back to Texas. What a long trip, but it was fun. We got to see Turkey and Romania and take our granddaughter and Anna and Miguel.